I'm going to start off my speech by showing you my audience. The use of cigarettes causes about 443,000 deaths per year. Nicotine is highly addictive, both physically and mentally, and that causes cigarette smokers a harder time to quit smoking, even if they wanted to. Cigarettes contain carcinogenics that are proven to raise the risk of cancer for cigarette smokers. 19% of adults in the US in 2011 smoked cigarettes. Yet, when someone turns 18, they are legally allowed to choose to buy a pack of cigarettes if they want to smoke or not. Alcohol abuse causes over 80,000 deaths per year. There are 1.2 million ER visits each year because someone drank too much. Not to mention how many innocent lives are taken from drunk driving accidents. And did you know that $223.5 billion tax-paying dollars are spent on the social cost of alcohol? Yet, when someone turns 21, they can legally choose to buy alcohol. This is not about banning cigarettes or the prohibition of alcohol, but the legalization of a substance that's less harmful than both of those. We live in a time period where people are allowed to make social choices and do what they want with their body. But yet, marijuana is still illegal. A lot of people don't want to legalize marijuana because of the stigma that comes with it. But actually, a lot of those are wrong. Did you know that marijuana does not increase the risk of cancer? Actually, it actually proven that smoking marijuana can reduce some cancers, such as neck cancer, and marijuana is used for medicinal treatment of cancer. Marijuana is non-addictive, physically and mentally, unlike cigarettes and alcohol. And there are about one person every 37 seconds prosecuted for marijuana charges. 800,000 people per year are prosecuted on small offenses that ruin their lives and opportunities. And in fact, there's no conclusive evidence that marijuana is actually harmful to the brain. Yes, during a time period of someone being high, they are less likely to absorb new information, but that does not affect their long-term, short-term, or past memory. It doesn't erase what you already know or stop you from learning and make you dumb. There's a lot of fallacies in the argument against the legalization of marijuana. One being that it's an untaxable, unregulated drug. The government can tax marijuana if they wanted to. There's ways that they can implement taxes and regulation. If they didn't want anyone else to grow it besides them, they can make permits, or they can make it against the law to grow without a permit. They can make marijuana farms so that there's more jobs created, more revenue in, and it's legal and it's being regulated. An economist said that about $8.7 billion in tax revenue will be made from legalizing marijuana. $8.7 billion. Don't you think that's actually something we can try? Especially since our country's so much in debt. A lot of people argue that if marijuana is legalized, the crime in neighborhoods would go up. And if you think about it, if people aren't concerned about the police looking for pot, they'll probably respect the officers more. And if officers aren't searching for marijuana in everyone's car and someone walking around high, they can focus their issues on prostitution, gang violence, or other illicit drugs that are highly addictive, like cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine, which are very destructive to person's lives and are very harmful and are roots to a lot of crime problems in inner cities. Do you realize how many people are prosecuted each year and how many people are put in jail because of small marijuana charges? We pay money to put them in jail and to prosecute them. If it was legalized, we can cut down on those costs. And in fact, if we make tickets or fines on marijuana, we can make money on it. Such as there's an age restriction. Whether that's 18, 21, 25, you can restrict when someone can buy marijuana. Restrict where it's used. You can't smoke cigarettes in public schools, or you can't smoke weed on the streets, or you can only do it at your home, or like in Amsterdam, you can only do it in smoking bars. And people argue that if we legalize it, children will get their hands on it. Now, let's be honest. Don't we have a problem with kids smoking cigarettes in middle school and drinking alcohol in high school? So legalizing it doesn't really stop the problem of underage drinking, smoking. So why would that stop the problem of kids smoking weed? Or actually start a problem? It's already happening. My favorite argument against the legalization of marijuana is that it's a so-called gateway drug. Marijuana is one of the most popularly used drugs in the US. So the likelihood that someone who uses coke, heroin, or meth has smoked pot in their lifetime is very high. But that does not mean that everyone who tries marijuana or smokes marijuana, whether that's a weekly, daily, yearly, or monthly basis, is going to go ahead and try every illicit drug that's on the street, whether it's a hallucinogenic, an upper, or a downer. Most people who smoke pot actually don't try any other drugs in their lifetime. And there's no correlation to people who smoke pot and their need to smoke or do other drugs. And like I said before, marijuana is neither physically or mentally addictive. There's no study that someone who smokes pot is going to go try the drugs. An addiction can be a mental addiction from that passes down from a family, an addictive personality. So they choose to do the substance knowing how they are. That's their choice, and it's not pot's fault. Why do we allow the use of alcohol and cigarettes even though they're so harmful to people? It's the society we live in. Walter Simpson teaches environmentalism and is an activist for freedom of choice and individual rights. And he says that the reason why we allow the use of alcohol and cigarettes is the society we live in, a society based on individual rights and freedom of choice. We allow people to choose what they put into their body. So they allow to use these recreational substances knowing the risks that they cause. That's their decision, and for their pursuit of happiness, that's their choice. Who are we to say no? Alcohol causes liver damage and drunk driving and costs more social costs than it does actually making money off of it. Cigarettes cause cancer and other harmful medical problems. Marijuana is less harmful than both, has actual medicinal benefits, could make us money, cut down on prisons if it's legalized, but it's still illegal. How is it something so harmless? It's still illegal when something so harmful, you're allowed to do it anytime you want. In the end, the pros outweigh the cons, and if people were educated about how legalization of marijuana affect our economy and our country, maybe they'll change their mind and actually do something about it.